Hello, welcome to the Clackamas County. Are we on record yet? Not yet? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yep, we are. Thank you very much for that Clackamas County DD Advisory Council for June 17th, 2024. Hope everyone's doing well. Are we at quorum today?
yes.
So we're at quorum today. Now we're gonna approve May 20th, 2024 meeting note. And everyone has been distributed the note. Any objections on the meeting note for May 20th, 2024 in ways of approving it for next for the meeting today? As I hear no objection, they've been approved by presented to the council, and we can get to our next topic point. My question at Chair is, would we wanna introduce our guest first between the four, whatever, 10 times to 4:15? Or do we wanna look on a purpose statement, or what are we doing exactly first? In ways of the county direction as we move forward in our agenda.
I had on here that we could review the county council's response, but we can, let's introduce our guest first.
Absolutely. So today we have a guest from Clackamas County, on the far side in a red blouse, I believe, or something like that. And, if you want to get closer to the microphone to pick you up for today, that would be great. And Sarah and Colleen, are the volumes that you guys, can you still hear us a little bit? We'll let them do a mic check. We will continue the introduction. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for the introduction. I'm Brenda Durbin. I'm the Director of Clackamas County Social Services. Really happy to be here today.
Thank you very much. Do you want to do introductions, or do you want to just move on and try to get through this agenda today?
Be nice to have everyone introduce themselves so Brenda knows who is present and representing. That'd be great. We want to start on the screen.
Sarah Lambert, you want to go first? As co-chair?
Yes, I'll go first. Hi, thank you for being here today. My name is Sarah Lambert, and I am a co-chair, and I am also an adult DD foster care provider.
Right. Colleen?
Hi, Colleen Johnston. I'm a parent of an individual with IDD.
Sarah Schwartz. I hopefully said it right. Okay.
I'm already messing up. Sorry.
Alright.
I actually run a Zoom and I still can't do it right. Anyway, my name is Sarah Schwartz and I have a daughter who experiences IDD.
Gossip?
Shasta Cransmore, parent, teacher.
Lisa Linson, parent of a child.
John Russell, for the record, John Russell, as a self-advocate and self-advocate for disabilities. I came later into this.
I think we missed Malika.
Monica, do you want to introduce yourself in the room?
Hi, everybody. I'm feeling ill, so I'm off camera, but my name is Malika Renard. I work for Clackamas County in Social Services as an admin assistant, and I am note taker for the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to have some services on the other level to have me try to gain a bit. So anyhow, are we on the, like I said, are we doing the guest first, or are we gonna do the purpose statement and you guys' response first? Because I know the response is very important to the council, but I also want to respect it.
I had on the agenda that we could review county council's response briefly. I know it was sent out, but if people want to talk about it or have questions or comments.
But your job, Kim? Wow.
My job, I'm not
You
sure.
made a response, I believe.
County council's, the county council's response?
Yes.
Okay, so I did reach out, as you saw, Sarah Foreman is the representative that responded from county council. And I didn't know, I mean, I did share it. I need to pull it up again to have each of the questions answered, but was there any question about her answers, I guess? what she shared in response.
Personally, I'll need a reminder, but is there any questions on the Zoom and in the room? I'm gonna need a reminder on some of the statements. Only.
Do you want me to read it out? I've got it here, it's very short. So council questions, who does the council advise in policy? Answer. The council should have bylaws or a charter that dictate this. It's possible that H3S or BCC have bylaws or charters.
H3S for the health and services.
In what ways are we, the advisory council, able to hold the CDBP accountable? An advisory board can propose improvements for consideration, but they do not have decision-making authority. What is the relationship of the council to the Board of County Commissioners? They are only advisory either to the BCC or the CDBP. And one from Kim, what role does the county council have in advisory councils? When do they get involved in anything related to the council and by whose request? County council can assist in reviewing and amending bylaws and help define rules.
Were you guys able to hear that, any questions? Within the council view? Response?
Any clarifications on the acronyms? We love all the acronyms. Now, what was H3S? Health, housing, and human services.
And for clarity, the county is like the county, and then there's departments, and health, housing, and human services is a department, and then there's a division, which is social services, and then there's a program, which is.
Should send you guys like a visual mapping.
Yeah.
It's taken me years to like.
I got it on the chart.
Do you have?
You get on the chart? I'll be great.
For the division of the.
It'll also be great. Right.
Just so you understand how like the. All.
It's very hard to know what you guys are with ODTF and how that goes down within the Board of Commissioners into the county program. It sounds like it's the county program of its own entity within another division. And so I'm someone who took focus to, so it's really hard to know who to contact in ways is the council responsible to the Board of Commissioners, or are they responsible within the advisory preview of the department and other LHM or the other departments at hand. And so with this part of the conversation and it's really hard to know the role and they're definitely on those with disabilities who've never really had that voice. But their voice is totally different than someone like yourself in ways of how we navigate through that conversation and how what was explained today. So I'm not putting it on you, but it would be nice to know, because what I saw with the county commissioners of other conversations last week, they have a heavier voice up to ODTS than where Clackamas County programs are on the side in its own entity. And I know that knowing that they can help us as council in the future and as we navigate through conversations within the department leaders and business at hand. So thank you, and I would love to have an organization chart for the members that were pushing for it and even myself, because some people, because the community last month, you weren't able to express yourself that. I'm solid enough to know that I can go to different areas, but other people have better permission area to go to those conversation spaces and do that during that sense. Also realizing where that limit is within that conversation. So thank you. But yeah, I think, knowing our goals, advisory, what the different advisory is, maybe there's want to make a coalition change if we need a coalition, another coalition, you can make certain changes in rules and everything, and then their bylaws conversation, how far we can go. So it would be great to know how far we can go with the bylaws versus the advisory aspect. I think that's my questions. Sarah Lambert having some audio issues. Are you still having audio issues?
If we don't have any questions about the county council's response, I'll take Brenda will get the org chart to me and I can send it out, or Malika can send it out, either one of us. Shall we move on to the we have a discussion and then create purpose statement with Brenda. So do we want to get started on that?
I'll do it. So the purpose statement is different than a mission.
Oh, sorry, I thought that Brenda was gonna make presentation.
There were a couple of other questions that came across my desk that we haven't talked about yet today, so maybe I'll go there and then we can talk about.
So Brenda, what I was gonna do, so I was gonna do the purpose statement for like 10 minutes, get that to understand the difference of that at the least. And then we can work on the purpose statement after she leaves after that, but I would like more clarification as she speaks, what is the difference of a purpose statement and the mission statement that we've already. That's my mistake, and I apologize for not knowing that level. So when Brenda talks, I can have a better context of what direction we're going, but then the bylaw conversation.
I think what Brenda's here to kind of help us create the purpose of being in the council and help us to understand that a little bit better. And by doing that, we can navigate our meetings a little bit more clearly and then talk about the bylaws like that, so.
So again, what's the difference of a mission statement and purpose statement? Because we've already approved a mission statement with an
I might be
outreach
able
and
to-
other conversations.
So the purpose statement is a part of the bylaws. It's that section at the very top that describes the purpose. The mission statement that the council did previously, I don't think they should totally be out of line with each other, but they aren't necessarily the same thing, and we would have to go back to look at that mission statement. But the purpose statement is actually part of the bylaws. It's that paragraph before you jump into all the stuff, so it's like, I don't know, isn't it there on the very top? The
Why
purpose
do we
stuff?
do a mission statement?
Yeah, huh?
Why do we do a mission statement then?
Well, I don't know.
It was done by
I mean,
ChatGPT even. if-
Well,
you know,
one
under-
of the reasons our program, when we have
I
our
apologize for the
Epic team.
confusion.
When we have the Epic team and we were working on program. And we were starting this up and we were working on our program, our own mission and vision. The council decided they wanted to do their own version. And so I don't have them here in front of me, so I don't remember exactly what they all say. I don't imagine that they should conflict with the purpose statement but the purpose statement itself is a piece of the bylaw.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think mission statement is more values based and
And I guess I would just look to also how we're learning and growing in this as well, and so. I know that you wanted when we first talked about a mission statement, it was to like bring together, what is our goal, what are we all here for, and which is similar and could be the same as our purpose statement, but we are now recognizing we want to address the purpose statement and it may look similar to our mission statement ultimately. I'm not saying it has to be something completely different. I guess like we want to maybe pull that up to see if it's appropriate for a purpose statement. But yeah, to just give
So
ourselves,
here's Cuyahoga County.
to give ourselves some grace.
Yeah, because I know for myself, outreach was very important within this conversation 2 years ago. And I think the council in ways of the mission statement on that. And you guys, we all have it does look like it's an Article 2 purpose of what we kind of pointed out in those situations, but I need to clarify what the difference was and how we can move forward with this relationship of what lovely guests here today and how we can move forward. So what questions would you have? And then we can maybe follow up on questions within this purpose statement, and we can move on hopefully to other business that we may not have coming about.
If it's okay with the chair, I'd like to go off topic for just a minute to provide a little bit of context.
Yeah.
So this is a council whose membership is appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. So because we are a CDVP, there's Oregon administrative rules that require every CDVP to have an advisory council. And the county process, there's lots of these mandated councils throughout the county and throughout the Division of Social Services. So for example, we've got an eating services, we've got a community action that works on low income issues, and we've got a veterans advisory council. So for all these councils, we do, membership recruitment activities. Y'all completed an application, there was some sort of review process. And then this committee refers membership up to the Board of County Commissioners. It's on their business meeting, and then they approve the membership, and then you are an approved member with voting rights. So that's sort of some of the hierarchy between where you all sit as a very important member of our team in terms of providing services to people who experience IDD in the county, and that's how you get sort of your authority to do this. Because you are appointed by the board also has some requirements in addition to what the state may give us. And one of them is that we are required to operate under Robert's Rules of Order. So Robert's Rules are a way to develop agendas, ensure that during meetings, everyone has a chance to have their voice heard. The agendas are a really important piece of this because they let all members know, what's the topic. You have a chance to maybe ponder and consider in advance when you know what the agenda item is. Most boards allow all members to suggest items to the agenda, and then there's usually an executive committee. I apologize, I'm not super familiar with your workings, but that's sort of generally how it works. Someone says, you know what, I'm really interested in learning more about how Clackamas County supports reforms. And so then you would ask your staff support here to say, could we have this on the agenda? Maybe we bring in a presenter, and that's sort of generally the way that sort of the agendas work. The other parts of Robert's Rules are sort of ensuring that business is done. So there's a whole process about making a motion, seconding a motion, asking for comments, and then voting. And we've developed some training on Robert's Rules, and that's another thing that I could offer if you'd be interested, is we can do some training on Robert's Rules, because again, that really is, it can sometimes feel like they're sort of constrictive, but they're really designed to ensure that everyone has a fair share, an equitable opportunity to have their voice heard during this meeting. So I want to talk a little bit about the Robert's Rules and your relationship to the Board of County Commissioner. So I think that's all that I wanted to say outside of the purpose statement. Do you have any questions or comments about that piece of your work?
Even when we vote in the Robert Bill, what is the implementation factor within the council for the county to implement throughout
So, so you're an advisory committee, so you're not necessarily going to be able to direct Kim and Stacy to do anything. I'm gonna make this up. Kim and Stacy, we would like you to give everyone a $500 bonus who works in the TV program. You could make that motion, you could second it, but it's not something that Kim or even I have the authority to do. So generally, your motions are going to be around recommendations. So let's say there's every year there's a review by the state. We get a letter from the state saying these are the things you do great, these are the things that you do not so great about. This committee could recommend something in response to the state program review. You can motion, you can vote on it, and then it's up to staff to implement it. If it's something that's outside of staff's authority, they're going to tell you. If it's something within our authority to do, then you can ask for regular updates about the progress on the XYZ project that we ask staff to look
at. I'm more clear on Robert Bill. Try to do a follow-up on. All right, so we would like to work on the purpose statement.
So I'm confused about our relationship to the LMHA.
That's what I was gonna ask. Will you explain the local
So,
health authority?
If you've got few spare minutes, you can go online and look at OAR 411-320-0030-11. I can give it to Amy and you can put it in the minutes here, and this is the state administrative rules about the CDDP advisory committee. So it's pretty short. The state says that we all need to meet at least quarterly. There's information here about membership that I believe I also saw in the bylaws. So this is why I think there's questions. The advisory committee must advise the LMHA, Local Mental Health Authority, CDDP director, and CDDP manager. So I'm going to get a little bit in the weeds here about the structure. So we have a Department of Health, Housing and Human Services. We like to call H3S because Housing and Human Services. A lot of time to say. So we've got the department, and underneath the department, there are 6 different divisions. So social services is a division, behavioral health is a division, there's public health, restaurant inspections, COVID response, there's the health centers, the federally qualified health centers. So we've got a housing division and a children and family and community connections division, and they do a lot of prevention work. So the department is officially the local mental health authority. And the department, again, H3S is the authority, and H3S can then designate different divisions to carry out different activities that are required under the local mental health authority. Just want to do a check. Did we lose audio? Did y'all on this screen hear what I just said? Yes, okay, great. So the department is a local mental health authority. The majority of that work has been assigned to our behavioral health division. And about 15 years ago, the county decided that the social services division would have the authority for the DD program. So again, it's the department that's the official authority. They can assign the work, and they've assigned the DD work to social services. Clear as mud? Other questions?
Any other questions out there in the way of the structure that we
Like H3S.
So H3S is the umbrella of the department. You've got social services as a division, behavioral health as a division. So we like to call them sister divisions, which I don't love. But behavioral health is a sister division to social services. Both of us underneath the same department.
Why do we not advise them?
Because the department has given social services the authority to manage the DD program.
It used to be a mental disorder when you have an intellectual disability. It used to be a mental disorder when you were lesbian or gay. The way you're certain other departments. So my question to you is, why was the change of behavior health into advisory council than it is now social services and human services committee? Because it is degrading sometimes for other people who were, mentally challenged, but it wasn't a mental thing at all. So I'm asking is, why is the department going from behavioral health 15 years ago into the social service side, where in the future legislative concept that are coming through, definitely within your job review, where it's not just going to be or DDS or CDDP services any longer. So within those concepts, how can we move forward with the language that can help where it is now a social service council rather than behavior, and why is that language of LMH still in our lexicon?
Yeah.
Where it was such a degrading factor within certain aspects.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put it in any hidden words, but I'm talking about your job and versus say just the department job.
Okay. So I think for clarity, my recommendation is we just leave it out of the bylaws. You are here to advise the DD program. If the DD program was still under behavioral health, you would still have that same relationship with the people who direct the program. The difference is that Mary Romo will be sitting here instead of me, but other than that, the nuts and bolts of what you do are with the DD program, not the larger departments.
Yeah, so I don't understand how the county's action to split up those two things changes the OAR that states that we have a legal responsibility to advise the LMHA.
So the department is the legal LMHA. So you are advising the department through the social services division. So
May
if
not
you
be
want
behavior
to,
support. May not behavior support for those who are trying to get behavior support within Cape Plan.
well, nothing about this structure impacts residents' ability to access any of the services. You have the same service array, whether you were sitting in the social services division.
Yeah, and there's, there's people whose disabilities are behavioral health. And none of the people here are with the behavioral health division. And do you guys tell them what we say at these meetings?
There's so, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so I'm just still really confused how there's this OAR that states we have to advise this entity. That entity got split up 15 years ago, but our responsibility didn't get erased.
Yes, because we're still meeting the letter of the law in the Oregon revised statute or the Oregon administrative rules because it's the department. If the county moved you to water environmental services, that would have been a problem. But you stayed within the department that is the mental health authority.
Does the behavioral health program have its own advisory council?
So, yeah. And I'll say that over time, we have seen some interesting opportunities when one committee member chooses to join another committee member. So that's a way to sort of make these connections. I'd also say,
Just have like a liaison.
yeah, a formal liaison or informal liaison. I'd also say that for the majority of the folks that we help here, you've got people who have a DD diagnosis, who are living with a low income, maybe they have some housing instability, and they have a behavioral health issue, and they have an older adult in their family who also needs support. That's gonna be 4 different advisory councils, all working towards the support of that one individual. And that's, get on my soapbox for just a little minute. That's one reason why I love working for Clackamas County, because we have such a comprehensive department. In Multnomah County, the work that is in one department in Clackamas County is in 3 or 4 different departments. So the value of this structure is that my boss, who's the department director, he directs every division. So if there is like the last few years, there's been a lot around housing. So he has engaged the whole department, whether it's the children and family folks, whether it's behavioral health folks, whether it's social services. We all have expectations around helping to address the housing crisis. So that sort of the interconnectivity that is sort of baked into our structure, I think has some real benefits in terms of serving the whole person.
So when we do our purpose, are we CDP?
Yes.
Are we gonna be by law to maybe outreach to other council? Other advisory. Well, to me, when I first came in, someone with traumatic brain injury who was about, who's receiving CDP programming, sounds so easy, but so hard to communicate. So how are we integrating different, playing the liaison, method might be ways to try to push into the bylaw, where we can have other representation within the other council.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that belongs in the bylaws or not. There's a couple different options, folks who are members of this committee could apply to be on other committees. You could ask for presentations. You might be interested in hearing from the Veterans Advisory Council to hear more about how the VA can support people who experience disabilities. So there's a lot of.
Oh, I was just gonna say that they're public meetings, right? So
They are
can
all
just-
public meetings.
if you want to go at some point and we have room for public comment, any of our council members can go and see if that's something they want to continue going to or are interested in.
Or else maybe you'd like to do a presentation to the behavioral.
Approved by the council, right?
Yeah, you'd have to, generally there's a contact information, a staff liaison and say, DD program with, DD council would love to spend some time with your council. talk about our program, see if there's opportunities to.
Just confirming that that's the Mental Health and Addictions Council.
So I want to make sure the other members have the pointing questions on the way that we build our purpose statement from our mission statement within the conversation. We have about another 10 minutes until 5:30 ending, but would you guys have any questions right now on how Clackamas County is set up and how you have some questions? I'm going to take really late in the game in ways of services and stuff like that. I have full inclusive education, you know, there's other aspects within the world of use of justice happening. So I understand the non-disability community in these type of situations and ways that the culture is built. And I understand the disability community with its other options. My question is, because I advocate in other spaces, why does it feel on the behavior side, you kind of touch it, but just reinforce it to me, yeah, or my situation? It's so different what they understand on the other edges of modes of services, why there's such a difference of behavior health and ODDS services, where we are having concepts that are now going to mental health into ODDS services, other ideas likewise, where the other side is totally okay and understand it's not behavioral health right now. But I do feel because of the OARs and certain things like that, what is making me confused within county services is because we haven't updated our rules and regulations into that separation, because I feel there are some members that really think mental health, you know, it does say by law, but there is a difference on the business end. Why does it feel so differently on the county side and what we serve and other methods of service models? Am I
Honestly,
wrong?
I'm not sure I've got a good answer for that. So, John? Kim?
I mean, yeah, like.
I'm not asking for government, because we know it's a slow process, but it just feels differently. Within trying to guide this council as a whole, you know, while the next channel will take what you need to do the job. So, purpose wise, if there's no purpose, hard to know where your purpose is. Alright.
I do a quick time check.
Sure.
5:10.
Yep, so we need to do the statement and the purpose statement. Within this place, am I wrong? Yep. So,
I couldn't find the mission statement that we worked on. I thought it was gonna be on our website.
yeah, and I thought that we were gonna have the adaptive. To me, it looks like what we just said on purpose. These guys do not have outreach in that. From how the purpose statement, what may have already been approved.
We have, so the mission statement that we approved a year ago, we wanted to upload to our council webpage. I think what has happened in between is we've had changes to our interface that we use for the councils, and so I can follow up on that and see if we can get that on there.
Time to get today. Because to me,
Yeah, I would like to make a formal motion that we staff to add that to the website. We passed one of times.
We can't hear what she said at all, what she motioned.
we're trying to make a motion, Sasha.
And we need someone to stand closer to the microphone because it just blinks out. We can't hear anything.
Okay, I'm making a motion that we add the mission statement that we approved April 24th, 2023 to the Clackamas DD Council website.
And I would like to push, if I can, the adaptive version that we've approved on that. Would that be approvable with the council? If not, I understand, but we need at least the mission statement approved within the website, so we have a better direction on how to guide people.
Yeah.
So would you be okay in that motion to add the adaptive push?
Yes.
Can we have a second of that motion, please?
Second.
Research has seconded, we're in discussion now, portion of the debate, is there any room for Clackamas County in discussion? Putting up onto the webpage, the mission statement that has been second and first on. In ways of questions or conversation. As I hear one, is there a motion to vote for this statement?
I motion to vote.
Sarah Lambert? You need a second?
I second.
Schwartz, seconded. We're gonna motion to vote. Do you guys want to raise hands, stand up, put into your reaction mode? What way would online like to do a thumbs up? All right, we have one for thumbs up. I'm gonna raise my hand for yay on that statement of the motion. We got Colleen on that. Anyone need to abstain? Or Sharon, would you want to say no, nay to that? You're putting a yes on that, so we're going back to yes. It looks like an unanimous vote for Clackamas County to put in both statement, the mission statement, and the adopted version that we approved of what date again, Jocelyn?
April 24th, 2023.
April 24th to 2023. Yeah. The adopted version was
But it's called the accessible version.
Okay.
She said, you know,
We have it. It's
okay, as long as you have it.
Yeah,
I just.
So are we voting this, just to be super clear, are we wanting this on this page where the minutes? Like, is that what you guys are talking about?
absolutely
Great.
Like,
I
under
don't even
this thing?
see that part. My website doesn't even show. Just has.
yes.
Well,
Right, well, right now comparing differences of the website design, and hopefully it will be more accessible with those with disabilities later on, as much as I remember that conversation. That we may not have used a web page within accessibility,
MacBook PC thing.
but it would be nice if the council can also, or the department can look at April's notes to see if there was an accessibility website approval on that. But it looks like we got the mission statement onto the webpage today. And how does it differentiate with the?
It's much longer. For one, and I'm just, my question about the purpose statement is what problem is it trying to solve?
So if I could, in my experience, the purpose statement is, this is your, it's both your, guidelines for what you hope to do, a way to measure your success, and it can be a real recruiting tool. People's time is valuable, most people have a choice of where they want to volunteer their time. The purpose statement is gonna be sort of your calling card. It's like, this is important to us. The DD program is really important to us. We want to support people who experience IDD in Clackamas County, and this is how it is. And this is going to be laid out here. It really creates sort of the structure which you do.
All right, you guys need a couple of times to think on the purpose statement. I know I might, but are we ready to try to get into that? What do you guys like a moment to think the difference of a mission statement versus the purpose statement?
I just compared, these bylaws, the 2016 bylaws, and that first statement isn't in the 2016 bylaws, so I'm curious, like, who wrote it and why?
And why not mission, that purpose statement wasn't included? In the 2015 version?
Yeah, well,
No.
we're clearly writing a new thing, so why are we writing a new thing?
Why can't we just put the bylaws?
I mean, I would be fine with, continuing on with, the functions of the DD council and then spelling it out, all of those bullet points. But this first sentence, I mean, we could, replace it with, the mission statement that we worked for a couple months on.
That's what I was thinking about, the replacement of mission statement already approved. And that being perfect, but I will say, yeah, I think the outreach part was important to me. Any portion of the mission statement, do we even know, can you pop on the mission statement so our viewers can see what we agreed on just recently? The both of the ones that we just approved on, can you do a screen share, so Sarah Lambert, Sports Calling, and, you know. Yeah, part of the conversation,
Is it the one in the email that Jules just sent out?
we just approved, yeah. The mission statement, both of them, we just approved, can we do a screenshot so they can
Oh,
go,
I can send it in email. I can't pop up my email on here because there's,
not the email, I'm asking it to be on a Word document, for you to do a screen share on a Word document. And like how Sasha, like a Word, is that an email or Word, I'm sorry, an email,
Yeah, it's just the
I
Google Doc.
apologize. I'm just trying to make sure that
Are you signed in? Are you able to, is it saved on the share drive where you can pull it up and screen share?
you can even put it in
I
the
don't know
chat.
that you have access.
You put it in the chat.
Yeah, copy and use
Just
it.
copy paste in the chat.
Oh, and I just emailed it, so are you guys able to see it? Did you get the email?
Yeah, I'm switching back and forth. So yes, I can see it.
So we can get the purpose statement done. Are there any concerns within the purpose statement or or we approve the mission statement that we did? And then I have a reminder of the mission statement, just in case the body missed anything, I'm gonna have it hit. And then we can continue either vote on the purpose statement and we have a conversation there to Robert rule with it, or we can do the mission statement and Robert rule that, okay?
Well, I just think the point of purpose and or mission statements both is, I think it's twofold. One is so that we know what we are doing, what we are supposed to be doing, and also so that we can sell the so I can't talk today, sell the council to prospective members. You know, so people just understand very clearly what is the point? What is the point of the council? What are we expected to be doing?
Would the adapted version of the mission statement say the same thing as a position statement or purpose statement? Is there anything that we would like to either add or subtract?
That's mine. Okay, I'm sorry. I did.
All
I got
right.
you.
Thank you, Sasha. So yeah, if you wanna, how would you guys like to move forward in ways of the purpose statement versus the mission statement of at least today's next 5 to 10 minutes? I have my own say, but I would like, you guys need to probably make a statement within it.
I can.
Itty bitty.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. Thank you very much, Sasha. This helps in ways that we can continue our mission. Within this conversation.
So,
Also put an inviting tone on it too.
It's like this got plain language.
Inviting inclusion.
It got AI, is what,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
And I put in on Robert Rule orders that it's ChatGPT's legal on the department. Should we?
if we added into the bylaws. It's not screen share, it's not just screen share.
Here we go. That's perfect for DD. which is much more easier to navigate, but does it give us the most amount of leeway to communicate to the public?
You can add a mission statement to your bylaws. Doesn't have to be either or. You can start with the mission and then go into the purpose. Because the mission tends to be sort of like a very sort of lofty, vision-y, and then this is how we're gonna get it done. Yeah, this is the world we want to create. These are the steps that we're gonna use to try.
So we basically did the work,
Ta-da.
but we already,
Everything's done.
and the state has already implemented that in many ways. But we had to then make another vote over the vote.
Because now we're saying, so when the first one that we did last year is saying our why, and our purpose might be saying our how. Okay,
Alright. And do we need, does the department want us to approve what we just did on the purpose statement? In ways of the bylaws being added, and we can discuss the bylaw check-in after that? So I'm asking for, do we need a bylaws approval in the Robert's Rule of Orders within the mission statement and the purpose statement being inserted? So when we go to the check-in, we can be better prepared. Or we can do the check-in now, I have my notes.
So is the, excuse me. So is the question, are we going, do we need to vote to add a mission statement to the bylaws?
Yes, and we already have a purpose statement, and the reason why we're here the last 20 minutes. If we
So
approve
we have
that
the
today.
purpose statement, so the purpose statement that's written here.
Yeah.
Could be the mission statement and then. We could add the mission statement and then a purpose statement.
Yeah.
And so is the question on the table, do we need to vote in order to do that? And I believe the answer is yes, we would need to vote to add the mission statement to the bylaws.
Okay,
And then we would have a mission statement and a purpose statement.
alright, we still got 5 more minutes. Does anyone have any questions before I put point in my last question on the why we're doing and how we're doing it? When was the purpose statement made? And how did it get approved within the blue part? Is that something we added or subtracted, or has that always been there for the last year and a half since what I've been on the scale?
So is the part of blue something that we created?
Yes, or is it something that?
It's something, I created that. I
Exactly,
think
so when was it approved?
It wasn't approved.
Or what not?
It hasn't been approved.
None of
This is a
this,
draft.
none of this.
This was all a draft. So this is to help steer us in the right direction because the bylaws don't really give
Understand.
much clear guidance on what the council does. And so when Kim and I started to kind of work on this, we thought a purpose statement would be helpful.
Okay.
That said, obviously we can change any and all of it.
No,
So
absolutely. Alright, how do we feel? You wanna approve the mission statement in the bylaws as the purpose statement stays the same until a later date? Right now, it sounds like the purpose statement is agreement.
I'm good.
Alright. So anyone wanna motion to vote to put the mission statement into the bylaws? As the purpose statement can stay with the blue languages at hand.
Make a motion to add this section highlighted to the bylaws.
Alright. And we wanna confirm what has been are we only doing bylaws or we wanna put that purpose statement in that motion?
So
That whole section.
this whole section was highlighted.
Okay.
Can you see the highlight?
Alright,
Yeah, so I'm just saying,
Yeah, alright.
so we approve that part of the bylaws and then we can move on to the rest.
Alright, so we're gonna add the mission statement to the bylaw, it sounds like not the purpose statement. We have a first motion, do we have a second on that?
I think it's both.
Uh,
It's both, it's that first paragraph
Yeah.
is the mission and the second is the purpose.
Oh, we are adding the,
Both, yeah, just the
Okay.
highlighted part.
oh, the highlighter, oh,
It covers both.
I see.
It's
that.
different,
That
it's different, it's different.
That's on me, guys, I apologize, see it red now, that's on me. I apologize, Chair. Second, did I hear a second or do we already second that? I'm not. Alright, Lisa, thank you for seconding it. Any discussion? Oh, yeah,
I have a question really quick. So it's kind of hard to hear. Are we voting to approve both, including the purpose statement? Because it's still highlighted. Can you just clarify what we are voting
Yes, the
on
whole-
for today?
the whole highlighted section.
all the highlighted section now. It did change color on me.
Okay,
That's
to
what
be added
happened.
permanently?
Exactly, that's what made me confused because I thought to recommend program goals, whatnot is what we were doing. But they changed the color to this motion within what's highlighted.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And we had a second on there. Any discussion? I think the only discussion point I'll point out is, I feel we're going to a direction that we kind of spoke on a little bit in ways that we may be going beyond just CDDP's human behavior health is your question and other metrics. We may have to have a discussion later on how we would like to manage it, not changing our mission or purpose, but to understand what's going to be happening within CDDPs, within the multi-category department relationships that may or may not be happening within other rural county heads and managers. But that's the only thing on record that I would put out for now that's not making sense, but maybe later on will. Anyone want to vote for what the article or the bylaw or what was proposed by Joshua and the others? We're doing a final vote now. The first on the highlighted portion of the mission statement being added within the purpose statement of this bylaw. We're voting now. We did our discussion. I made my statement. And I approved on my notes. I just need to make a statement, worrying about the future of it later on. But knowing that we have to approve today.
So are you ready to vote for this?
I am ready, but I don't wanna, I'm not thirsting
To
the,
make a motion to vote.
yeah, we need a motion to vote.
I don't think we ever need a motion to vote.
We don't?
I think she made the motion to approve this.
And then we have to
And then we
discuss.
seconded a motion to approve it. Everyone in favor? Aye, raise your hand.
I thought there was a discussion panel between.
Yeah, it's a motion, a second discussion vote.
So we
Four
can just vote
steps.
after the discussion.
And we've already, I think we've had the discussion.
That's all we need to do. All right, we're gonna vote.
All in favor? We lost Colleen.
Yep, she's on here.
Oh, she's on there, I can't see this.
Oh, okay.
There we go, Colleen. All right. Okay. If you can, I'm sorry for the rookie question on this, but during discussion, if we have proposal to change certain parts of something, don't we have to motion and re-motion a vote, or can we still vote
You
between the
can-
discussion?
You can ask if the person who initially made the motion agrees to the amendment.
Thank you.
So let's say, you know, I want to change 3 words in the mission statement.
Yeah,
motion.
just like what I did on the adaptive
Yeah,
version, I have it. All right, we made it easier process than me going 1, 2, 3 one more time, thank you guys, that saved me a time, 5:30. Did we get that purpose thing done? All right. Great, so now, we're having a bylaw check, and I was all prepared for today. And it's gonna take a long time, but I also know that we wanna get things done. Where are we on bylaws check-in in ways that we can continue the conversation? We want to do it now in ways of, piece by piece? Or also other concerns that I or others may have. I'm asking the council.
So my suggestion is that we go through these bylaws paragraph by paragraph and just do that same process. And if there's any disagreement about any of these sections, then we can, you know, have a discussion or whatever and do that until we're done or until 5:50.
No, to me, it took an hour and I think that was to do even established bylaws in ways that, you know, we have to take away certain things in our aspect, so. Would we need review, and I don't think it's gonna get that way, I mean, we will have to go line by line. But can we ask for, if the council wants to go direction of, you know, hammering it down and just getting it done for, you know, I'm not saying a whole day, I know we have our own life. But because we're gonna have 4 months off. And I wanna make sure that we finish this off. Well, we got 2 months now and 2 months. I like it. And I believe we should get it done, we should be getting it done, but I also know there might be conversations later.
I really think that this part, that first part is probably the hardest part to get through, and these right here. But after this, I think it should be pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Shasta, what do you think? You went through.
Yeah, I mean, my basic proposal, having not really heard any reasons for why we're changing it yet, but I'm definitely open to the discussion, is to just leave the language the way the 2016 language reads. So I'd be open to hearing why we're changing these. I do like the way it was reordered. I would add as available here. And then the site reviews thing seems to have gotten lost, so I would add that back in.
Anyone else on the bylaw change, and at least on the first couple paragraphs, or your personal desires on it?
Is the previous version embedded in this?
I just copied and pasted it. So.
I would be interested in special meetings that may be called by the executive committee at the request of the director of health, housing, and human services, social director, or the DD program managers, where there might be side meetings in between. Something that I really don't understand quite yet. I know I've gotten a little bit of freedom for side meetings, if it's not on behalf beyond the council, you know, on behalf of the council. But it is something that's a big worry of mine, because coming from the media landscape, usually people who are journalists and others, other aspects question when you have backdoor meetings and conversations. And this being a public meeting within, you know, within this thing, it's still, I don't understand the special meeting, you know, that may be called. But then doing a personal meeting within council, you know, Q&A or, you know, meetup time and other aspects. I just been burnt a couple times in life in ways of trying to do things right, but not knowing that other people may or may not have other views. That's one of them.
What section is that?
Such questions, special meeting may be called by the executive committee at the request of the health director of health, housing, and human services. And social director, that to me is a public meeting based within the council, and then maybe you can help us on that in ways that maybe we are not a public entity, even though we're a public record.
You're 100% a public entity. All of your meetings are public meetings.
Yeah, so no
Special
matter,
meetings as well.
from the matter of personal meetings behind at a coffee bar or a meeting, you know, just talking about the bylaws within other members of the council, is that even possible, because we are a public entity and need to be having the DD program managers for the city? That's why I made a vote to have the meeting by the program manager, rather than just saying John, the co-chair.
Yeah, I would discourage you from meeting informally to discuss council business. I mean, your friend, you know, friends, you're gonna have coffee and you wanna talk about something, that's fine. But I would discourage it. and encourage you to you need to do all of your business.
Who do we question?
Oh, I'm just wondering if there's a training, like an open meeting training that the council could have access to that might answer some of those questions. And then we can table that and back to Article 2 and go through these specific questions.
I have Article 3 on for me. So, but yeah, I think that's something that I had questions on. And then the subcommittee, I feel what I'm doing, interested in subcommittees, especially for self-advocates. And because we're a public entity, a lot of self-advocates are fearful in coming to these things, either in control of the managers or other places. And there's no place for them in the voices within, not the department's fault, but within the flexibility within the bylaws of today. And definitely if we don't take self-advocacy and put, certain other languages like it's even services, which may or may not, the debate shouldn't take I out of these services, in ways of that conversation. Right? I don't care what direction personally, I'm more to DD and CBOC than I am on, IDD community. But I don't know how we can have these subcommittees that we would like to make, even outside my own desires, in ways that public rules and availability within this bylaw conversation. But it would be great to have a subcommittee. But it's a different rules with the governor's advisory council than it is the county.
One option for input is, I see it here under participate in assisting community outreach events. So if you're interested in hearing directly from people who experience IDD, that outreach process is a way to gain that insight. It's not going to be an official meeting, it's an outreach event. Go have a listening session and then you bring the content, what you learned from that listening session back. So if you've got folks who are like leery about coming to a public meeting, that would be one way to allow them to help.
Do we do this personally or do we do this with the support of the DD program?
You would do it with in accordance with staff's desire. So so this is something that you probably want to make a motion of. So I move that in the next 6 months, we engage 3 different activities. And this is how we're going to make it work. Staff is really busy. And so you need to, I think, understand that. And you definitely cannot do community outreach without it being voted on by the council. When you're out in the community and you represent yourself as a member of the DD council, you are a county official. You are speaking. Now, as a private individual, I'll say anything you want.
Yeah.
But
As
when you
a council,
represent
we have to-
yourself as a council member, you need to take actions that have been directed by the entire council.
That helped me a lot in understanding some of this outreach stuff that I would love to do in ways as an advocate, but I know that,
Yeah.
Theory sometimes it's hard to navigate that. Is there legal precedent when we're in this space versus when we're outside and doing this, meaning that sorry, I'm doing my own thing. Council, please put in, let's move on.
So,
Yeah, let's go.
Just for the sake of time, I would make a motion to leave the 2016 language as A. So A would be to recommend program goals and objectives to the Director of Health, Housing, and Human Services, the Director of Social Services, DD Program Manager, change that to program managers, and the Board of County Commissioners.
Should be a comment between the. Yeah. Between the social services and DD program managers, yeah, right there.
Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Um,
So the vote on the table or conversation and then the vote on the table is leave the language in red.
In red or in blue?
In red.
Red.
With the minor changes that we
Yeah.
suggested, so that's fine.
I like the blue. when we recommend something doesn't really happen, how can we make them be accountable?
I think we have to make more motions. That's our legal authority, is that if we make motions, then that those are official like actions that the council has taken. Whereas when we've made suggestions in the past, it hasn't really been followed through with that sentiment from the council. So I think my personal feeling going forward is that I'm gonna make a lot more motions and ask that they are actually done.
But remember, you're making recommendations, you're not making directives.
That's absolutely true. And I will want some kind of explanation as to why that hasn't happened.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that at any time when the council is gonna make a suggestion or a recommendation, and we are able to implement or whatever, we would have a reason. But no, that's not it, and then not explain the rationale.
That sounds great, but I think that, you know, clarity is kind. And I think that making motions and voting on them and saying this is actually what we want you to do will help everybody understand what's going on. Because I think there's been a lot of instances in the last 2 years. I felt like the council has informally asked for things that haven't been provided.
Like, you know, special groups of disabilities or a tax attorney and a lawyer kind of thing, you have our own motion. Why how do we navigate that? Yeah, it'd be interesting. Anything on mental health or any other program management on A in that that you would think of? I'm fine with A on my side. Any other discussion on A, keeping the language 2015? There's only one concern on that I'm sorry, I'm gonna point out, but we need to push this forward beyond just the input council. That's something that's important later on. I know we are, I agree, I get that. But for those who are in the garage system, we've gotta go beyond this to be an action council like what discussed just recently. So I'm gonna wrap it up on the voting unless there's other questions out there. Colleen, Chair Schwartz, she on the view. Can you go down one more? All right, no questions there. We're gonna vote on this. We're keeping on section Article 2, Section A to keep 2015 language within that conversation. Please put your hand up. Let's make the vote.
So now I'd like to make a motion that the highlighted text is approved and retained as item B,
B.
the red language.
You want the red one?
Yeah, the red.
And the red one again is the original language of 2015. Okay, so by.
If I may, I think the purpose of changing the language to advise program managers is because that's who's in the meetings.
But
Whereas the directors won't typically be, so yes, you are advising the directors, but you're going through the managers first, like the directors won't typically be in the room, so I guess that's why. Just for clarity.
But how does it make a responsibility for the directors to be even listening to us?
Well, and I offer a suggestion or a thought on that. I think the piece that we wanted to make sure got in was also on improving service equity. And so I'm wondering if we want to keep because I think it's the council's desire to retain all those layers. And so for at least for some members, it's about retaining the layers in there, which is fine. And I'm wondering if we can add the service equity component to it. To advise on ways to for service equity for all residents who are eligible for services.
I have my own opinion on equity. Do you guys would have an opinion on adding the blue and the red together within the word equity for all residents of Clackamas County who are eligible for services? So
I do. I actually agree with, I'm having a hard time with my audio, so please forgive me, but I think Kim was saying also the addition of the DD program managers. I understand that personally because I think I understand Clackamas County a little bit better working with them for so long. So I would move to have them combine the blue and the red because I do feel like it's also important to have that in there as well. When you're talking about advising and directors only, I mean, DD program managers is somebody that I would have communications with regularly. So I think that's important language to keep in there as well.
Colleen?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with what Sarah said, and I have to say my audio is not great either. So you guys, yeah, I can hear that.
We'll get closer next time.
I can hear everybody on Zoom better than I can decipher everything that you guys are saying in the room.
Yeah.
I
Thank
agree
you
with
for
the
your
combo.
input. We can talk about public entity audio later. And wait to my frustration over the last 25 years of open signals and other places. But
Sarah, did you have something more?
yeah, please. Thank you.
Sorry, yes. I also wanted to add, I think that perhaps one of the issues with completely getting rid of any of the red language, and sorry, now I can't find it now, but it was the part of reviewing programs and recommending policy. I think when we were talking about earlier removing all of the red letter language, that was kind of an issue. So I think that was one of the main reasons, and correct me if I'm wrong, that wanting to keep the red and join it with the blue was so important as well.
Yeah, we made that clear on that. Are we trying to take out policy or not policy? It was just a bribery.
No, it's fine.
All right, my question on equity, so Clackamas County doesn't get DEI where now they can't use DEI into community experts. Would it be more feasible in legal forms where DEI is not allowed in more diversity, equity, inclusion within some languages? How can we make the word equity in what Clackamas County might be saying in ways that we may or may not want to add the blue and the red together in ways that those community experts can still be heard?
So if I could, I know there's a lot of confusion about there, particularly since the county dissolved the Office of Equity and Inclusion. The county administrator has charged the entire county staff to be leaders on equity and inclusion. So we can use the words, we can do equity work. We don't have the office, but we've got a lot of passionate, dedicated people, so there's no issue
Within the council view, within the
with
county.
including equity in your bylaws.
Absolutely, thank you.
And it's my expectation that we all work on that.
And I think also for clarity, it's that the commissioners and the county administrator also said it's about funding the work, is the work is gonna be embedded in everything.
Yeah.
So they're not separating specific tax dollars to just say this is.
All right, well, as long as for me, they can be viewed as community expert on record, though I understand the language of where we're going. We will now need to do another first or second on that.
Yeah, so I want to amend my motion.
Yeah.
With highlighted language, so
Okay.
this entire thing would be what we were voting on.
All right. And I would second that. So we're going, we had our discussion and discussion, no discussion? Discussion, all right, cool guys, thank you guys for putting me on that. And all right, we're gonna go for a vote on that. Thank you, Kim, for coming. Thank you for the work that you do.
We got almost the whole page.
On B, right? Section B? Yep.
I'm gonna do a time check, we're at 5:50.
Do we have anyone in the public Hopefully, does anyone like to speak today? And here, no one. Does that mean we can amend another 8 minutes on this conversation? We have to close the second round?
We wanted a discussion on what we heard at heard all reporting from the April meeting. I was very upset about the harassment and discrimination discussion. Really confused what is going on. Why was there this implication that council members have been harassing and discriminating? Well, because I have not heard any sort of language like that on council. Discriminating? Yes, I was reading out of a harassment and discrimination statement. And then there was discussion afterwards about how attacked staff have felt.
And how to change the language within the town policing that sometimes applicants always have to go through that town policing. We have to electorally to other issues that you guys were explaining. It is difficult sometimes to navigate that.
Shasta, I don't mean to butt in, but we're having a really hard time hearing what you're saying. Sorry.
I'll try to speak up. Can you hear me now? Cool. So I just want to state for the record that asking pointed questions, expressing frustration with how services have been delivered, expressing how end users might experience those services is not harassment and discrimination. So I would love to, I think that we work well together as a council. I think that we work well together with staff. But these services are truly life and death for the families that I'm a part of and that are my friends. And I cannot go and say just out of curiosity question for issues that are that impactful. And I think the entire point of this advisory council is that you have to interface with people whose lives are so dramatically impacted by the decisions that you make. You guys are the ones who have the power to make these decisions. And it is okay for us to ask questions about them and to express frustrations about them. It's kind of the whole point of why this advisory council was created. We need to be able to bring those concerns and not have them be shut down. And if there are specific statements that you find objectionable or whatever, we can talk about those. And that's totally fine. And there are ways that we can work through that. But I think that there's a fundamental misunderstanding of how much work it is to be a person with a disability or to be a caregiver full-time to a paid or unpaid person with a disability. We are not the water board. We are not the Veterans Council. We don't have time to do a bunch of extra stuff because by definition, the activities of daily living means that it's difficult for us to get through a regular day. And on top of all of that, we have all of these hoops to jump through that, social services make us jump through, that healthcare programs make us jump through, that the schools make us jump through. Just showing up and listening to the presentations and asking the questions is the most that I can do most months.
And I don't think there's a training charge with a certificate. I would agree. I treat you like I would with privilege. I would agree that same thing with whatever, on open path and other things. Got to question those type of spaces. And on the advocacy side, with community partners giving us behavior contracts and other aspects, but then, being locked into a room because you spoke out to something that other people get to do it in 45-minute edits and training facilities. I'm trying to relate to something in ways. It's very, very harmful for the community sometimes within the full voice of it. So I understand that I may not have directed it, the meeting the county has, but we also have to look at the long-term impacts. Unless there's other views that thought we were attacking or approaching the guests within my council a little bit too direct, which you know, as an advocate, this is my voice of what I'm trying to point out, not a chair. It is interesting. Knowing where to go, and we don't know the backroom conversation too, we don't know where the email in the back is, but they're getting on past, you know, I've guessed, but. Like for me, I would like to go to North Lackland Park and say, thank you for coming, you know, or, you know, the aquatic center. But I'm trying to my best to balance that too. In ways of what they would like us not to attack. Or whatever the language that was, versus the reality of council. Everyday communication within other meeting spaces. So how do we move that? Would we participate like in section article 2.d, participate and assist and then make opinions in way of direct questions to our guests and community outreach, because then we can have some flexibility within our bylaws to ask direct questions when guests come. What am I missing?
I think it's totally appropriate to ask direct questions, and I do think that some of the concern was not so much with our staff, but like when we invited the North Clackamas, that person was like, they were very upset about how they felt they were treated in that meeting, and I know you have opinions about that, and they wanted.
I'm a volleyball fan on the
I know.
record, and I understand certain management styles,
Yeah.
but I differentiate different other high school systems.
What we could do also is better prepare people to what to expect when they're coming to provide information as well. And not that it means you have to filter what you're asking. You should be able to ask questions and give input. We won't always necessarily have the answers right there in the moment, and some things we can or cannot control, but it doesn't mean we can't engage in hard conversations, difficult conversations. The North Clackamas thing was Amy got the emails, and that person felt very much attacked, and they're an outside community person, and then when staff meetings and do other activities, they just felt like they felt like they were more under the firing squad when they came, and I didn't super feel that way, but that's how it was received. That's all I'll say. That's how it was received.
I can understand, I can see your point, like you should be able to express frustration, disappointment, all of those things that you feel. I think on the receiving end, that can be hard, meeting after meeting after meeting, and when you have guests, it's hard to prepare them to walk into something, so. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I acknowledge, of course, you should be able to feel that way and express frustration with the system, and to an extent, we do have the power, but we actually don't have a lot of the power, so I think that's.
No, I think you need to understand that you are getting paid a salary to do the job that you're doing right here, right now. We aren't. That is power.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sarah, go ahead and I'll wait for my statement, because I'm gonna dovetail on that.
I had just wanted to kind of put in there that I'm kind of surprised by it being the Parks and Recreation person actually, and so I would be kind of curious a little bit more to that one. I would have assumed it would have been maybe more with the Protective Service one, because I feel like a lot of people were just surprised and shocked by some of the information, not necessarily meaning to make that individual, feel bad. But maybe if we had a better way of, I guess, like you were saying, preparing the guests coming on and having a list of questions that might be asked, and perhaps the Parks and Rec just felt unprepared for their time with us. I don't know, that one's kind of surprising. Go.
Would the council be objection of extending the meeting after 5-10 minutes? I hear no objection.
No.
Sarah Lambert, no. All right. Want to make sure.
No, I have no objection.
Thank you, guys. I just want to make sure. Sarah Lambert, can you put your hand down so I don't get distracted? But yeah, Lisa, please.
Yeah, that was my I have this role in my life as a parent of a child who experiences disabilities, right? And I'm her protector, and I'm her advocate until she goes out. And then in my paid position, I'm a protector, and I'm an advocate. I help patients learn to advocate for themselves. That's what I do. That's what you do when you're a registered nurse. And so I sort of I felt a little angst when you said, that's your paid position and you're supposed to protect us, is sort of what I wanted to spit out after you said that. So I just encourage us that when we are inviting people like whoever this gentleman was who had a problem and emailed with an issue, for us to really come back with something like, wow, could we look at ourselves in the mirror and what did you not bring with you that day? Why are you feeling personally attacked about questions and concerns and statements and things that we need to say about the program, right? Like there is a space for us to go to that person instead of coming back to us as a council, I think, and saying we should commit to being better. Because I swear we're all the best we can be every single time we show up. And the second that we're not, we drive home feeling crappy about all the things we didn't do well last 5 minutes. And it's okay for us to ask that person to do the same and sort of meet us in. So I do want to feel better protected before somebody comes in and they aren't prepared for the emotions that we might have as self-advocates or parents. I really do. Because there's a potential moving forward that one of us in any given week is going to cry, spit, not because we're mad, but just, snotty cry, spit, or mad spit, or tired spit, or all the things that come with an emotion when you're getting information out about what it really feels like to be the person living with experience with your experiences. And so, and yes, I could do better at being less angry when I'm asking a pointed question. And I expect that everybody say something too, right? Like, hey, could you say that nicer next time? But I don't like to come onto a meeting and hear those exact 2 words that were used. Discrimination, and I thought I heard hostile, but maybe it was another word. Being said about us as a council and the way that we treated another human, because I assure you, nobody on this council is treating people that way.
It was hard to balance because I didn't know. To me, definitely when we have the honor of someone like the non-profit 5 o'clock or that type of conversation, when we have bills like Senate Bill 819 promoting full inclusion, and how county has integrity county programs like the YMCA and other resources that other people get that we don't. It should be okay to question within those concepts, I feel. And it's just that, when I hear my friend be accepted finally in organizations outside of county resources, like a club or something like that. I know it's a new environment. I don't want to fear people. But these are questions and triggers that we've had for a very long time. So like the aquatic parks, thank you for putting out public record. I still love you guys. Go to the aquatic parks when you can. But at one time point out is when they say they start at institutionalization, they do not have adult programs. That type of questioning metrics should not be that we're attacking. It should be we're asking questions. He reminded us you have to hire 20 different, lifeguards and certain other aspects. Okay, great. But it's just that type of thing where I know there's a lot more harder stories we can point out, but or knowing certain volleyball styles and maybe injecting to it. But if I can hit that one Nelson High School parent out there, in way of another high school system. But when you hear concepts like their boys going to YMCA and doing these things, we know, we feel it's coming as a council. And when we hear that, type of, concept coming through the system, it's very hard to place it, knowing when the emergency preparedness, which I hope you read about in the last minute, of your VADs and everything. But it's been 9 months ago, I had that conversation with another partner. So it's trying to figure out where these individual community partners who are so crucial, like AP Houston only, or Special Olympics in Clackamas County, and how to have that conversation. But then, not thinking that triggers that have gone through the past. So that type of support I would like as an advocate. Like,
I was just gonna say one last thing, when we. That's what it's coming to figure out.
They will need a few minutes.
I missed the meeting where there was this discussion and I had to watch it, right, on the recording. Is there? Would there have been an opportunity for the email that was sent to be read to the council so we could hear his exact words and know what the, for us to perceive what his issues were about the previous meeting? Is that a possibility when somebody's complaining about the way we're behaving as a council? Like, is that an open discussion within the council to talk?
I think that was just one example. I think there's a lot of general feelings of like, that kind of communication style, but after hearing what you said, I hear that it's sort of your experience. So I get that piece.
There's a lot of third parties that are interested in helping out the DD community, but how can we include them? Like the flag program or like whatever family emergency, whatever. I'm not thinking of the last guest on that in ways of abuse investigators. There's a lot of people that want to help out, but how can we help you guys in ways that sometimes we fear to go out for outreach sometimes, like the outreach in there, so important. But then also have them be comfortable with the environment, because there's some transportation issues with the one thing I mentioned, that I'm not gonna put on the other right now. In ways that it should not be a business. It shouldn't be TSP, PSW fault, but then the county provided, so we should have a place to touch them. Try to find that solution in being a fruit tree or other aspects.
So yeah, so I appreciate that you guys were able to have this hard conversation. Listen to, thank you. And I hope that we can continue to have hard conversations moving forward. And that, if there is an issue with, the way that I have asked that question, I'm just gonna speak for me, or the way that I have presented a recommendation, please feel free to have an open and honest conversation about it. But I do see kind of the whole point of me coming to a meeting, taking that time away from my family, taking that time away from the services I could be providing for my son, as being able to improve these programs for all of Clackamas County, so that you guys can have that perspective, so that you guys can feel how raw and real these issues are in our lives. And I want to be really clear that I think that you all have the best of intentions, and there's no sense of oh, you're trying to undermine us, So, so I really do feel like I'll move forward and just make these programs as best as we can.
One thing that's hard too, and I'll just add to this, I think, when we're on the squares, I know there's a lot that gets missed with that communication, so, and I know that nobody can always be in person 100% of the time, but I think there's a lot of these just communications that just get missed, and so there's more room for misunderstanding and misinterpreting. And so I think that might be part of the issue too.
There's also a chat log too that we have to follow. We got 2 rooms of verbal and chat, and so complicated in knowing where the direction.
Well, and Malika's spot on when she says that it gets perceived as an attack.
Yes.
Just really passion. Yes, everybody does passion different.
100%.
And maybe that's what you lead with when you invite people to our party. We're really passionate.
Remember how hard remember how hard it was to get a guest? I had to have the whole council vote on a guest. It was Samantha Fagan, you know, whatever that day was, when we did that vote, even though that moonlighting issue, issue. But one thing I point out is it took effort just to get guests in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please, Sarah Lambert, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to it too, that I think that maybe if we have a lot of the passionate questions, that we could ask somebody to come back so that we can kind of regroup and present it in more of a, you know, tone that may not be perceived as an attack. And so maybe have the guests follow up if they would be willing to, or write things down and send it to an email to them or something like that. Because I think sometimes we get presented with information, it can be shocking. And we have to be careful to control our reactions too. But inviting people back wouldn't be a bad idea if they would come back, so we can ask follow-up questions.
All right, oh, can we continue this conversation later maybe, or if we need to share as an executive committee, I want to close out and think if I do close out, but yeah. Can we have a motion to end the meeting, or do we need to talk more?
All of your passion.
Any motion?
I'll motion it, but I wanted to thank our guest for coming today.
Yeah.
She's leaving.
Yeah, you left. I'm fine.
Thank you all. I just really
Thank you.
appreciate all the
Bye-bye.
time. It was great to meet
I second that motion.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.